Have you ever felt like you're caught in a game you didn't agree to play? Like every move you make is countered by his subtle manipulations, leaving you doubting yourself, questioning your worth, and wondering how you ended up here. Manipulation can feel like an invisible web, slowly tightening, and before you know it, you're second-guessing your own decisions, trying to untangle the mess he's left you in. It's exhausting, isn't it? But here's the truth. His manipulations don't define you. They're not a reflection of your strength or your worth. They're a reflection of his inability to handle someone as powerful as you. And today, we're flipping the script. You've been giving him the benefit of the doubt, thinking that if you just loved harder, compromised more, or gave him one more chance, things would change. But love isn't about losing yourself to make someone else comfortable. Love isn't a battlefield where you're constantly fighting to prove your worth. His manipulation isn't love, it's control, and it's time to break free, because you're not here to play his game. You're here to rewrite the rules. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the energy we're stepping into today. His words, his actions, his attempts to twist reality, they don't hold power over you unless you allow them to. The moment you realize that your mind, your heart, and your decisions are yours to control, the grip of his manipulation begins to loosen. You stop reacting to his games, and you start reclaiming your power. You start living as the unshakable force you were always meant to be. Imagine this. You're like a lighthouse standing tall in the middle of a storm. The waves crash against you, the winds howl, and the skies darken, but you remain unmovable, unshaken, and brightly shining. That's the strength you hold within you, even if he's tried to dim it. Manipulation is nothing more than a storm. It's chaotic, loud, and disorienting, but storms pass. And when they do, the lighthouse is still standing, its light still shining. You are that lighthouse. You don't need to bend to his storms. You don't need to shrink to make him feel bigger. You are enough as you are, strong, steady, and radiant. Let's talk about relationships, because that's where this manipulation thrives, isn't it? He twists your words, makes you feel like you're the problem, or keeps moving the goalposts just when you think you're getting through to him. And in the process, you start to forget the truth. Relationships are meant to build you up, not tear you down. They're about mutual respect, shared effort, and real love, not mind games and emotional tug-of-wars. If he's using manipulation to keep you in his grasp, it's not because you're weak. It's because he's afraid of what you might become if you ever realized your strength. And that's exactly what we're going to focus on, your strength. Because while he's trying to keep you second-guessing, we're going to make sure you rise so high, so strong, that his games no longer touch you. Queens, this is your moment. Enough is enough. You've been bending, sacrificing, and tolerating far too much. It's time to stand tall. Because when you stand in your power, his manipulation loses its grip. You stop reacting to him, and he starts realizing that his games no longer work. That's when the tables turn. Picture this. You're like a diamond, buried under layers of dirt and pressure. He thought his manipulations would keep you buried, keep you doubting your worth. But he underestimated the power of that pressure. Because pressure doesn't break diamonds, it makes them shine brighter. And now you're stepping out of that dirt, out of that pressure, and you're becoming the version of yourself that doesn't just survive manipulation. You rise above it, untouched and unstoppable. At first, this might feel like an uphill battle. He's gotten used to controlling the narrative, twisting situations to make himself look like the victim or the hero. But here's the thing, he can't manipulate what you refuse to give him. When you stop playing along, when you stop letting his words dictate your emotions, you take back control. He can spin his stories all he wants, but you'll be too focused on building your empire to notice. His games will feel small, insignificant, powerless against the force you're becoming. And queens, let me tell you something. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about proving anything to him. This is about proving everything to yourself. You're not shattered. You're a force of nature. You're not broken. You're rising. His manipulation may have made you doubt yourself, but it's also the very thing that's preparing you for this transformation. Because once you see his games for what they are, once you see through the smoke and mirrors, you can't unsee it. And that's where your power lies. In clarity, in self-respect, in the quiet strength of knowing who you are and refusing to settle for anything less than you deserve. Look in the mirror. That's your ally. That's the person who's been through the tears, the confusion, the moments of doubt. And yet, she's still standing. She's still fighting. And now she's ready to rise. She's ready to stop letting his manipulation dictate her life. She's ready to step into her power, to live as the queen she was always meant to be. Because queens don't beg for respect. They command it. Queens don't react to manipulation. They rise above it. And you, my dear, are a queen. This is your moment. Enough waiting. Enough doubting. It's time to take back everything and more. Because you're not just breaking free from his manipulation, you're stepping into a version of yourself that he won't even recognize. A version so strong, so radiant, so untouchable that his games will feel like nothing more than a distant memory. You're not just surviving, you're conquering. And from this day forward, the only power he has over you is the power you choose to give him. And queens, you're not giving him anything. This is your rise. Let's begin. If this message touched your heart, if it reminded you of the power and strength that's been within you all along, then please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We pour our time, energy and passion into creating content that uplifts you, empowers you, and helps you reclaim the life and love you deserve. Your support means the world to us. It's not just about building a channel, it's about building a community of queens rising together. So, let's keep growing, thriving, and transforming together. You've got this, and we're here for you every step of the way. Number 1, your boundaries are your kingdom. Walls. Have you ever felt like you've been playing tug-of-war with your emotions, constantly pulled in every direction by his words, his actions, and his control? It's like standing in a house with no walls, completely exposed to the storms he creates. He twists reality, pushes limits, and leaves you questioning where your boundaries begin and end. But here's the truth. It doesn't have to be this way. You don't need to let him manipulate your world. You have the power to build strong, unshakable walls around yourself, your boundaries. And when you do, his games will lose their grip on you. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They're about protecting what matters most: your peace, your worth, and your identity. Without boundaries, you're like a castle with no defenses, open to every attack and every manipulation. But the moment you build those walls, you reclaim control. You decide who enters and how far they're allowed to go. It's not selfish to protect your heart. It's necessary, because if he doesn't respect your boundaries, he doesn't deserve access to your kingdom. There's a quote by Epictetus that says, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Boundaries are your way of mastering yourself and your life. They are your voice saying, "This is where I stand. This is what I deserve. This is what I will no longer tolerate." Manipulators thrive on confusion, but boundaries create clarity. They leave no room for his tricks, no cracks for his manipulations to slip through. When you set your boundaries, you don't just block his control. You send a message. You're in charge now. Imagine your life as a garden. Without a fence, anyone can walk in, trample on your flowers, and take what they want. But with a fence, you're saying, "This space is mine to nurture, to grow, and to protect." He might test the gate, try to climb over, or even push against it, but that doesn't mean you lower the fence. You make it stronger. Your boundaries are the fence that guards the beauty and value of who you are. And queens, let me remind you, you are worth guarding. Relationships thrive on mutual respect, not manipulation. If he pushes against your boundaries, it's not because you're asking for too much. It's because he's giving too little. Respect isn't negotiable. The right person will honor your boundaries without question. The wrong one will try to break them down. But here's the thing. You don't need to explain, justify, or defend your boundaries to anyone. Boundaries aren't requests, they're declarations. And when you stand firm, you teach him that manipulation has no place in your life. He might try to guilt you, to twist your words, or to make you feel like you're the problem for standing up for yourself. But that's his way of testing your strength. Don't fall for it. Remember, boundaries aren't about controlling him, they're about freeing yourself. When you stop letting his opinions dictate your worth, you start living life on your terms. You stop being a pawn in his game and become the queen of your own story. You've likely spent so much time trying to meet his expectations, to make him happy, to avoid conflict. But enough is enough. It's time to draw the line. The moment you set those boundaries, you're not just protecting yourself, you're setting a standard. A standard that says, "I will no longer accept less than I deserve." And queens, let me tell you, there's nothing more powerful than a woman who knows her worth and protects it fiercely. Boundaries are your kingdom walls, your safe haven, your sanctuary. They're not meant to shut love out, but to make space for the right kind of love to flourish. The kind of love that sees you, values you, and respects you. When you live as a queen, you don't lower your walls for anyone who isn't worthy. You let those walls stand tall, knowing that only those who respect them will ever get close enough to earn your trust. Look in the mirror. That reflection isn't just a woman, it's a warrior. She's been through the storm, but she's still standing. And now she's ready to build. Build walls that keep her safe, build a life that honors her worth, and build a future that no manipulation can touch. This is your moment to take back everything and more. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it as your truth. My boundaries are my power. I protect my worth fiercely. Let the world know you're no longer playing his game. You're rewriting the rules. And if this message resonated with you, if it reminded you of the strength you've always had within, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Number 2. The quiet power of your indifference. Have you ever noticed how silence can be louder than words? How stillness can create a storm that no argument ever could? Manipulation feeds on reactions. It thrives on your anger, your frustration, your need to explain yourself. But when you choose silence, when you choose indifference, it's like shutting off the power to his game. He can push, he can prod, he can try to twist the narrative, but your quiet strength will speak louder than anything he says. This is not about running away or hiding. This is about standing tall, unbothered, and untouchable. Indifference isn't emptiness, it's power. There's a reason why the Stoics believed that control over your own mind is the ultimate strength. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the foundation we're building here. His manipulation isn't the fire that should burn you, it's the fire that will forge you into something stronger. When you refuse to react, when you stop feeding his need for control, you reclaim the most valuable thing you have, your peace. And peace, queens, is priceless. Picture yourself as a flame burning steady and strong. His manipulation is like a gust of wind, trying to put you out. But the truth is, wind doesn't extinguish a steady flame. It only makes it burn brighter. Your indifference is that steady flame. It's the light that shows you don't need to fight his games to win. When you stop playing his game, you start living on your terms. That's when the real power shift begins. Relationships are supposed to be partnerships, not power struggles. When he manipulates you, it's his way of trying to hold control, to keep you doubting yourself so he can feel secure. But love doesn't work that way. Real love builds you up. It doesn't tear you down. The moment you stop reacting to his manipulations, he will feel the weight of your silence. That silence will force him to sit with his own actions, with the void left when you stop playing along. And trust me, that void will speak volumes. Think about the ocean. It doesn't rush to meet every drop of rain that falls into it. It doesn't react to every ripple on its surface. It remains vast, deep, and unshaken, no matter what touches it. That's the energy of indifference. When he tries to manipulate you, let his words and actions be like those ripples, momentary and fleeting, while you remain vast and steady. He will feel the difference when you stop giving him your attention, and that difference will be deafening. It's not easy at first. You may feel tempted to explain yourself, to fight back, to make him see what he's doing. But queens, the moment you do, you give him power. He wins when you react, when you let his actions pull you off balance. But when you stay grounded, when you let your silence be your strength, you take back control. He won't know how to handle it, because manipulation needs energy to survive, and your indifference starves it. You're not here to play small. You're not here to shrink yourself for his comfort. You are here to rise above his games, to show him that his manipulation has no place in your life. He may have thought he could keep you in his grasp, but your silence will remind him that you are untouchable. That's the quiet power of indifference. It doesn't just protect you, it reclaims your freedom. And, queens, let me tell you something powerful. Indifference doesn't mean you don't care about yourself. It means you care too much to let his manipulation define you. It means you're choosing peace over chaos, strength over struggle. It means you're walking away from his games and stepping into your power. When you do that, you don't just free yourself. You create a life so strong, so radiant, that his manipulation becomes a distant memory. He may not say it, but he will feel the impact of your strength, your silence, your refusal to engage. This is your moment to rise. Look in the mirror and see the woman who's stronger than his games, who's ready to stop reacting and start thriving. You are not a victim of his manipulation. You are the architect of your freedom. Let your silence speak louder than his actions ever could. Let your indifference become the shield that protects your peace. Say this affirmation with me. My silence is my strength, and my indifference is my power. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it as your truth. Let it be a reminder every time you're tempted to react. You're not here to play his game. You're here to rise above it. And if this message gave you strength, if it lit even a small fire in your heart, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here, working tirelessly to create life-changing lessons to help you reclaim your power and live as the queens you were born to be. Let's rise together. You've got this. Number 3. Reclaim the narrative. You're the author of your story. Have you ever felt like he's holding the pen to your story, rewriting the narrative so it suits him while leaving you feeling powerless and trapped? Maybe he twists the truth, plays the victim, or makes you question your own worth, all while keeping you in a script you never agreed to. It's infuriating, isn't it? But here's the truth. No one tells you. He doesn't own the story of your life. He may have tried to play the author, but the pen has always been in your hands. And now, it's time to reclaim the narrative, to write a chapter so bold, so unapologetic, that it leaves no room for his manipulation. There's a quote by Viktor Frankl that says, "When we're no longer able to change a situation, we're challenged to change ourselves." That's exactly what we're doing here. You can't control his games or his attempts to manipulate you, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to stop letting him define who you are. You can decide, right here and now, that his opinion of you holds no power. Because manipulation is only effective when you give it permission to shape your reality. When you take back the pen, his words lose their weight. Imagine your life as a canvas. For too long, he's been holding the brush, painting over your colors with his own shadows, dulling your brilliance. Maybe you let him because you wanted the relationship to work, or maybe you didn't even realize what was happening until now. But now you see it, don't you? The painting isn't his to complete. It's yours. Take the brush back and paint with colors so bold, so bright, that his attempts to overshadow you fade into insignificance. You are the artist of your life, and it's time to create a masterpiece that reflects your strength, your value, and your truth. Relationships are supposed to be partnerships, a balance of mutual respect, trust, and effort. But manipulation destroys that balance. It's not about love, it's about control. When he twists your words, gaslights you, or makes you feel like you're always the one to blame, he's trying to steal the narrative from you. But queens, love doesn't require you to lose yourself. Real love doesn't make you doubt your worth or question your instincts. If he's manipulating you, it's not a reflection of your weakness. It's a reflection of his fear. Fear of losing control, fear of your strength, fear of what you might become if you ever realized you don't need him to be whole. And that's where your power lies. When you stop letting him dictate how you see yourself, his manipulation loses its grip. He wants you to believe you're powerless, that you need him to feel worthy. But queens, you don't need anyone to complete you. You're already whole. The story of your life doesn't require his validation to be meaningful. The only validation you need is your own. Look in the mirror and remind yourself, you've survived everything so far, and you're still here, stronger, wiser, unshaken. Think of a phoenix rising from the ashes. The fire that was meant to destroy it becomes the very thing that transforms it. That's you. His manipulation may have felt like it was breaking you, but it was actually preparing you for this moment. To rise, to reclaim, to write a story so extraordinary that he can't ignore it. But by then, his opinion won't matter. You'll be too busy living your truth, too focused on building a life that reflects your worth, to even notice his regret. And let's be clear, this isn't about proving anything to him. It's about proving everything to yourself. It's about stepping into your power unapologetically and refusing to let anyone else hold the pen to your life. When you reclaim your narrative, You don't just take back your story, you take back your peace, your confidence, and your freedom. You stop reacting to his games, and you start living as the queen you were always meant to be. Queens, the time for doubting yourself is over. The time for letting his manipulations dictate your happiness is over. This is your moment to rise, to take back the pen, and to write a chapter so powerful that it silences every doubt, every fear, every lie he ever tried to make you believe. You're not his puppet. You're not his victim. You're the author of your own story, and it's a masterpiece in the making. Say this with me. I am the author of my story, and it's mine to write. Write it in the comments, queens. Declare it as your truth, because it's time to take back everything you've given away. And if this message lit a spark in your heart, if it reminded you of the power you've always had, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here to create life-changing lessons, to remind you of your worth, and to help you rise into the queen you were born to be. Let's write your next chapter together. Number 4. Let his games be the mirror of his own weakness. Have you ever noticed how the people who try to manipulate you reveal more about their own weaknesses than they realize? His manipulation isn't a sign of strength. It's a reflection of his fear, his insecurity, and his inability to control his own life. He projects it onto you, hoping you won't see the cracks in his armor. But today, you're going to see right through him. His games aren't as powerful as they seem, and once you understand that, his control over you disappears. This is your moment to let his games be the mirror of his own weakness. There's a powerful quote by Epictetus that says, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." His manipulation shows that he hasn't mastered himself. It's his attempt to hold on to something he's afraid of losing. But you're not here to play his game. You're here to show him that his tactics only reflect his inability to handle someone as strong, as resilient, and as brilliant as you. Think about manipulation like a puppet show. He's pulling strings, trying to make you react, trying to make you question your decisions, your emotions, your worth. But what happens when you stop moving to his strings? The show falls apart. The puppet master looks powerless without his tricks. That's the power you hold. The moment you stop reacting to his manipulations, you force him to face himself. You let his own weakness become the thing he can't escape. Relationships aren't meant to be power struggles. They're meant to be partnerships, built on love, trust, and respect. But manipulation, that's the opposite of love. It's about control, not connection. And no one who truly loves you will ever try to control you. Queens, love doesn't make you feel small or unsure of yourself. Love makes you feel seen, valued, and supported. If his actions leave you doubting your worth, it's not love. It's his weakness projected onto you. Imagine a tree standing strong in the middle of a storm. The wind tries to bend it, to break it, but the tree's roots go deep, and it doesn't fall. That's you. His manipulation is the wind, but your strength, your self-respect, your wisdom, those are your roots. The stronger you stand, the more obvious it becomes that the wind can't touch you. He'll realize that his games are powerless against someone who knows her own value. Here's the truth. His manipulation thrives on your doubt. It's designed to make you question yourself, to make you feel like you're the problem. But you're not the problem. His inability to handle your strength is. When you stop internalizing his games, when you stop giving his tactics power, you take away the very thing he's relying on to control you. And that's when his weakness is exposed. He'll see that his manipulations only reflect the emptiness he's trying to hide. Living as a queen means recognizing that you don't need to react to his games to prove your worth. A queen doesn't argue with those who try to tear her down. She rises above them. She doesn't waste her energy proving herself to those who don't see her value. She knows her worth is not up for negotiation. You have that same power within you. It's time to stop letting his actions dictate your emotions. Let his games show you exactly who he is, and let your strength show him exactly who you are. When you stop reacting to his manipulation, something incredible happens. He loses the control he thought he had. He's left with nothing but his own reflection, his own insecurities, his own weaknesses. And while he's busy trying to figure out why his tactics no longer work, you're rising higher than ever. You're not just surviving his games, you're thriving beyond them. And that's the ultimate power, living in a way that makes his manipulations irrelevant. So, queens, this is your moment to take back everything he tried to steal, your confidence, your peace, your power. Stop giving his games space in your mind and heart. Let his actions be the mirror that shows you his weakness, not your own. You're not a victim of his tactics. You're the hero of this story, and this chapter is about your rise. Look in the mirror and remind yourself of this truth. I am unshaken, and his games reflect his weakness, not mine. Write this affirmation in the comments, queens. Claim it as your truth, and let the world know you're stepping into your power. If this message touched your heart, if it gave you clarity or strength, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to bring you life-changing lessons like this because you deserve to live as the queen you are, strong, confident, and untouchable. Number 5. Your value doesn't need his validation. Have you ever wondered why his opinion of you seems to hold so much weight? Why you find yourself waiting for his approval, craving validation for your worth? It's like being stuck in a game where the rules keep changing, leaving you feeling like no matter how much you give, it's never enough. But here's the truth he doesn't want you to realize. Your value was never his to define. His approval, his validation. It's not a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of what he's trying to control. And today, you take back the power he's been trying to keep for himself. Let me tell you something powerful. A diamond doesn't need anyone to tell it it's valuable. It just is. Whether it's buried deep in the ground or sitting in the brightest display case, its worth doesn't change. You, my dear, are that diamond. No matter how much he tries to make you feel small, his words can't diminish your brilliance. And the moment you stop seeking his validation, you become untouchable, because your worth isn't up for debate. As Rumi once said, don't seek outside yourself. The treasure is already within. He might want you to believe that your value depends on his approval, but that's the lie manipulation thrives on. The reality is, he's trying to control what he can't truly hold. Your power, your light, your heart. When you stop chasing his approval, you take away his ability to control you. You stop being a pawn in his game and start becoming the queen of your own life. Picture this. He's like a shadow, always trying to creep into the light, hoping to dim it. But shadows only exist because the light is so strong. You are that light. His manipulation, his tactics, they're just shadows, powerless against your radiance. You don't need his validation to shine. The moment you realize that, his grip begins to loosen. He'll start to feel the shift, the absence of your attention, the silence where your need for his approval used to be. And that's when the tables turn. Relationships aren't meant to be a constant struggle to prove yourself. True love is about mutual respect, effort, and seeing each other's worth without conditions. If he's using manipulation to make you feel like you have to earn his love, that's not love, it's control. Stop giving him the power to dictate how you see yourself. Your value isn't tied to his opinion of you. It's yours to own, to protect, to cherish. And when you start living with that truth, you'll become someone he can't manipulate. Someone who doesn't just survive his games but rises far above them. Look in the mirror, that reflection staring back. She's been through the tears, the heartbreak, the doubts, and she's still here. That's not weakness, that's resilience, that's strength. And now it's time to step into the fullness of who you are. Queens don't need permission to shine. They don't wait for validation from anyone else. They know their worth, and they wear it like a crown. So, stop waiting for him to see your value. Start living as if you already know it, because you do. Your value doesn't need his validation, his attention, or his approval. It's time to claim that truth and let it guide you forward. Repeat after me. My worth is mine, and no one can take it from me. Write this in the comments, queens. Claim it, own it, and let it remind you every single day that you are enough, just as you are. And if this message reminded you of your strength, if it helped you see the unstoppable power within you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working tirelessly to create life-changing lessons like this for you. Together, we rise, we thrive, and we reclaim the power that was always ours. You've got this. Now go and shine. Number 6. Break the chains. His control is not your identity. Have you ever felt like he's wrapped invisible chains around you, holding you down, controlling your every move? Maybe he doesn't say it outright, but his actions make you question yourself, your decisions, your worth, your identity. You feel trapped, like you've lost the person you once were, bending to fit into the mold he's created for you. But here's the truth. Those chains aren't real. They only have power because you've been convinced they do. Today, we're breaking those chains. Not slowly, not quietly, but completely and unapologetically. His control is not your identity, and it's time to reclaim what's always been yours. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Let that sink in for a moment. His words, his manipulations, his attempts to control your life, they only work when you hand him the keys to your mind. The moment you decide to stop letting him dictate your thoughts and emotions, the chains lose their grip. He's been trying to rewrite your story, but you hold the pen. And it's time to start writing a chapter that's all about you, your strength, your worth, your power. Imagine you're like a bird in a cage. For so long, you've been made to feel like the cage is all there is. You've been told the bars are unbreakable, that freedom isn't an option. But what if the cage door has been open all along? What if the only thing holding you back is the belief that you can't fly? His control is that cage. It's an illusion, a trick to keep you from realizing you've always had wings. And now it's time to spread them. The sky is yours, queens, and there's no limit to how far you can soar. Relationships are meant to lift you up, not chain you down. They're about mutual respect, trust and love, not control and manipulation. If he's been using tactics to keep you questioning yourself, it's because he's afraid of your strength. He knows that the moment you see your true power, his hold on you is gone. Don't let his fear define your future. You are not his puppet. You are not his backup plan. You are a force of nature, and nothing he does can take that away from you. This is your moment. You've spent enough time doubting, enough time shrinking yourself to fit into his world. Now it's time to take back the space you deserve. Look in the mirror and remind yourself who you are. You're not broken, you're rising. You're not a victim, you're victorious. Those scars you carry, they're not signs of defeat. They're proof that you've survived every storm he's thrown your way. And now you're ready to turn that pain into power. Queens, let this be the day you break the chains. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Stand tall, walk away from his games, and don't look back. His control doesn't define you. His manipulation doesn't own you. You are more than enough, and your future is waiting for you to take charge. Let this affirmation guide you. His control is not my identity. I am free. Write this in the comments, claim it as your truth, and let the world see your power. If this message resonated with you, if it reminded you of the unstoppable strength you've always had, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to bring you life-changing lessons, to create a community where queens like you rise together. Number 7. Turn his games into your growth. Have you ever stopped to wonder why his games feel so powerful, like he's always one step ahead, pulling the strings? Manipulation can feel like quicksand, dragging you down, making you doubt your every move. But here's a secret that changes everything. His games are not your prison. They're your stepping stones. Every time he tries to control you, every time he twists reality, he's handing you the exact tools you need to rise above him. His manipulation isn't breaking you. It's shaping you into someone stronger, smarter, and completely unstoppable. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters." That's your key to freedom. His tactics might feel overwhelming, but they don't define you. What defines you is how you use those moments to build yourself up. Every mind game, every twisted word is like fuel for your growth. You're not just surviving his manipulation, you're learning to see it for what it is, and that awareness is your greatest weapon. Picture a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. Each strike looks harsh, almost destructive, but with every hit, the marble transforms into something extraordinary. That's you. His games might feel like blows right now, but they're shaping you into a masterpiece. You're learning to see through his lies, to stand firm in your truth, and to rise above his petty tactics. With every game he plays, you're becoming more resilient, more unshakable. He thinks he's controlling the narrative, but what he doesn't realize is that you're using his actions to rewrite the story entirely. Relationships are supposed to lift you up, not leave you questioning yourself. He's been trying to keep you small, to make you believe you're powerless without him. But queens, let me tell you something. He doesn't get to decide who you are. You are not the pawn in his game. You're the one flipping the entire board. The moment you stop reacting to his manipulation, the moment you start focusing on your own growth instead of his games, the power shifts. And when the power shifts, he'll feel it like a cold wind he didn't see coming. This is your time to take every ounce of his manipulation and turn it into strength. Instead of letting his games tear you down, use them to build yourself up. Let his words remind you of how much stronger you are than his insecurities. Let his attempts to control you show you just how untouchable you've become. He thought his games would break you, but instead, they're igniting a fire within you that he can't put out. Look in the mirror. That's not a woman who's been defeated. That's a woman rising. You're not a victim of his manipulation. You're the architect of your own triumph. He thought he was playing you, but you're the one mastering the game. This is your moment to grow beyond anything he ever imagined. His tactics are small compared to the unstoppable force you're becoming. Say this with me: I rise above his games and turn them into my growth. Queens, write this in the comments below and claim it as your truth. Let it remind you every day that you're not just surviving, you're thriving. And if this message lit a fire within you, if it reminded you of your strength, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. Your presence is power, your absence is thunder. Have you ever noticed how your presence can feel like sunlight to someone who values you, but your absence can hit like a thunderstorm to someone who took you for granted? The truth is, manipulation thrives on attention. It feeds on the energy you give, the reactions you offer, and the time you spend trying to make him understand your worth. But when you withdraw that energy, when you remove yourself from the game, the silence you leave behind becomes louder than anything you could ever say. Your absence is not empty, it's powerful. It's the thunder that follows the storm of his manipulation, shaking the very ground he thought he controlled. Think of it this way: your presence is like a warm fire in the cold. He grew comfortable, maybe even complacent, enjoying the heat without considering the effort it took to keep that fire alive. But when you take that fire away, the cold settles in, and suddenly he realizes just how much he depended on the warmth. That's the impact of your absence. It's not about anger or revenge. It's about reclaiming your power and showing him, without a single word, that his manipulation no longer has a hold on you. Rumi once said, "Don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure." Every moment he tried to twist your words or control your emotions was a moment that tested your strength. And now, you're standing on the other side, ready to take back everything he tried to take from you. His manipulation may have left you questioning yourself, but now you're becoming the answer to your own doubts. You don't need his validation to feel whole. You're already complete, and the moment you stop giving him your attention, the dynamic shifts. He loses the power he thought he had, and you step into the light of your own strength. Imagine yourself as a rare flower blooming in a hidden garden. For so long, he thought that flower would always be there, waiting for his attention. But when he neglected it, the flower didn't wither. It simply moved to a place where it could thrive. That's you, blooming in a space where his games no longer reach. Your absence isn't just about leaving. It's about growing, thriving, and building a life that makes his manipulations feel small and irrelevant. The less he sees of you, the more he'll feel the weight of what he lost. Queens, let me say this: your presence is a gift, and your absence is a lesson. When you walk away from his manipulation, you're not just freeing yourself, you're showing him the void he created. Let your silence speak louder than his words ever could. Let your actions, the life you build, the love you show yourself, be the thunder that echoes long after you've moved on. Because you're not just surviving his games, you're thriving beyond them. Look in the mirror and remind yourself of this truth. You are the storm and the calm after it. You are the light and the shadow he'll never forget. Say this affirmation with me, Queens: my presence is my power, and my absence is my thunder. Write this in the comments below and claim it as your truth. Let the world know that you're done playing his game. You've reclaimed your power, and you're stepping into a life where you reign as the queen you've always been. If this message resonated with you, if it lit even a spark of strength within you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We work tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons and reminders of the unstoppable power you hold.